Hello everyone, it's time for a new video, and today I'm going to be doing a reading vlog of reading books with stunning covers. So I just uploaded a vlog where I read some books that have ugly covers, and I knew that I wanted to do it again because it was so fun to make, and I wanted to do a contrast of reading books with stunning covers. We're gonna just have a look at whether those stunning covers are as beautiful on the inside as they are on the outside. So let's jump right into it. Hello everyone. So the first book that I'm going to be reading is Shadowfrost by Coco Ma, and I adore this cover. I have the audiobook of this. I don't know much about the book, but I'm going to read you a few short things. From young author Coco Ma comes a dazzling new tale of adventure, power, and betrayal, weaving together a stunning world of magic with a killer cast in an explosive, unforgettable debut. That sounds amazing, and then I actually scrolled down to kind of see the reviews, and the author wrote a few things to know about Shadowfrost. Badass royals wielding elemental powers, magical. Immortal demon annihilating kingdom, terrifying. Love triangles, no thanks. I saw that, I was like, yes! Because I hate love triangles more than anything. Points of view, multiple. Fierce women, cinnamon buns, and flawed characters, many. Oh, yes! Banter, quality. Plot twist, I don't know, you tell me. So this is so fun. I love that she wrote that little thing down there. And I haven't actually heard anyone talk about this book, like, on YouTube. I really hope that I enjoy it. We'll see. So, it's time for an update. I'm at around 15% of Shadowfrost. I was kind of hesitant about this book. It's not that I expected it to be bad or anything, but since I didn't hear anyone talk about it, I just didn't know what to expect, and so I didn't want to have too high expectations. So I just went into it, with an open mind and just like no expectations whatsoever, and I feel really good about it. At the beginning, the first few chapters, I was like, yeah, okay, chill, normal, nothing crazy. But right now I'm at a point where shit's gonna start to go down. So, this book has elemental magic in it. And people either control one element or two or a few. There are rare people who also control all of them. So that is the main character who kind of has like a chosen one vibe, but she doesn't feel that much more powerful than everyone around her. It's like a lot of the main characters are really powerful, and to me, like, it doesn't seem super cliche, anything, like, it doesn't bother me. I think that's totally chill, and yes. And she's also a princess, and she is really, really cool. Her name is Astrid, if I remember that correctly. And the hints of the romance there so far, I think is gonna be really good. And basically, the super short summary of the plot is that there's this weird demon shadow monster thing that is just killing villages. So the princess, the main character, along with like a little squad, they're gonna go on a journey to stop that. So it's time for an update. I am over 80% in Shadowfrost, and I'm enjoying it. It is definitely really fun. I really like the characters. I love the magic in it, and there are also gods, and so I really, really love all of those aspects. But I do have a few things that I don't really love. One of them is I'm kind of confused about the pacing and the plot because I don't really know what's happening and where the plot is going exactly, because it's just, I feel like the same type of a thing has been happening for so long and it's not really moving anywhere. And so if you are someone who really cares about plot, this might not be fully for you. And another thing is that there are multiple different points of view, and not only with the main characters, but like, the kind of like side characters having like discussions and shit that shows you kind of like the background and what other people are plotting and stuff like that, which is interesting, but some of them just seem kind of unnecessary to me, and it's just the kind of feeling where there's a different point of view and I don't care, and I just really wanted to get back to the main characters, if that makes sense. But anyway, I'm gonna go finish the book and I'm gonna update you once I finish it. So I finished reading Shadowfrost by Coco Ma, and one thing that I forgot to mention that I really liked is that it has a little bit of a male-male romance in it. It's like with two of the not main characters, but there are like glimpses of it here and there, and it was really cute. I also liked the main romance, but one thing that I feel like it could have been a little bit more developed, because with both of those two romances, I was really invested. I was here for it. I was shipping them. I was kind of, I was excited to see where it would go. But once it got to the point where they like kissed or something, it was extremely anticlimactic. It was super quick, super brief, and I was just like, that's it. So I understand that it's a fantasy that is not at all focused on romance, but like if you do have a romance in there, it needs to be developed at least, like to a certain point. I feel like this is a book that definitely has a lot of promise and potential. It just needs a little bit more work. It's definitely not perfect, but it was a fun time. So, yeah. So, this entire week, I haven't really been able to focus on any books, but I finally started reading a book that I'm super invested in, and that is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin. Oh my god, I forgot, I think I'm at like around 40%, and I'm listening to the audiobook, and I don't even know where to start. This book is a West African inspired YA fantasy about a princess and a refugee. And the refugee is the male character, and he has two sisters, and one of them gets kidnapped by this weird, scary monster creature. So he strikes a deal with that creature that basically he has to kill the princess. And the princess has goals of her own, and I think that's all I'm gonna say. Oh my god. It is so fast paced and so attention grabbing and thrilling, and it's the kind of book where you just need to keep reading. You need to keep reading to find out how everything's gonna work out. The stakes are really high, and a lot of things there are the type of things that seem impossible to resolve. You're like, how the hell are they gonna figure this out? And so that is just so fun, and I am absolutely loving it. And something that I posted on Goodreads is that it's giving me the Savior's Champion and the Wrath and the Dawn vibes. The Wrath and the Dawn with like the two main characters kind of wanting to kill each other but falling in love. And the Savior's Champion because there's this kind of like a tournament thing where I don't know how much I want to tell you. The audiobook's really good. I love the voice of the two narrators, so that is really good. I don't know if you've seen the trend on Twitter where authors are sharing how much publishing paid them, and I don't remember the number, but I saw like the number for this book, and excuse me? So the publishing industry really needs to put its shit together and pay authors of color the money that they fucking deserve, because this book is absolutely spectacular, and I think it's gonna be like one of my absolute new favorites. And it's been a long time since a book really made me like obsessed with it, if that makes sense. Just the kind of feeling where you're just constantly thinking about it and you need to know what happens. And okay, I need to shut up and go read that book. So yeah. So it's time for an update. I'm at around 75% of the audiobook, and oh my god, I love the two characters so much. I feel like they have so many layers. They both have to make really tough decisions and do a lot of things that kind of challenge who they are as people, and I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I love them both so much. Both of the characters have certain vulnerabilities and they are kind of like soft in some ways, but at the same time, they kind of need to be really tough and strong and brave. And it's just, I'm loving it so much. And the romance in it is most certainly slow burn, and I don't even know if anything with that will like fully happen in this book because it's a duology, but there have been a few little moments that just made me like fangirl, and I'm so happy. I haven't been reading fantasy much at all. I'm loving this book and I'm probably gonna finish it and then I'm gonna update you once I'm done. I finished reading The Song of Wraiths and Ruin and oh boy, did it ruin me. I absolutely loved it. Like, I finished it like 10 minutes ago, so I'm still completely shook and don't know if I can find the right words. And overall, I feel like for the past week, I haven't been able to speak or express myself at all, so I apologize. This book is absolutely incredible, and I'm begging you to read it. It's breathtaking. And the whole time, I was like, oh wow, the plot is really complex, and I don't really know how any of it is gonna get solved. And then I had some ideas, and I did not expect pretty much anything. Like near the end, like the last 20%, so much happened that I did not expect at all, and I was just so shook. Like I was just, I was listening to the audiobook and I was just staring in front of myself, absolutely mind blown and in shock and just trying to process all that was happening, and just the plot is so intricate and exciting. There's never a single moment when it slows down, really. Well, I loved the characters so much, and when it comes to the romance, I would call it enemies to lovers, but I don't feel like it can follow a single label because it's unlike anything I've read. It's just everything in it is so complex and so exciting. Like I think that describes the book the best that I like can. The characters are so complex and their relationship is complex and just so complicated, and the whole plot is so complex, and so the romance is not something that is a big part of the book, but the moments we get, the things we get is incredible, and I need the next book right fucking now. So I started reading The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, and I'm most certainly loving it. So I'm on the page 20 and I'm already so invested. I'm already having like the giddy feelings, like smiling and chuckling and like completely loving it. Hello everyone, so I'm on the page 59 and I just wanted to read you one short sentence that really shows the main character's personality. And there's basically like kind of like a Robin Hood situation happening where some people are still probably stealing money from the rich, and the king tells her about that problem and she reacts to that like, who in the world would steal and then not keep the riches for themselves? That's just bad business. So yeah, she is very selfish and very cunning. She just goes after what she wants and she doesn't give a shit who gets hurt in the process. And she's a really bad person, and she has super questionable morals and makes extremely questionable decisions, but I really like her anyway, so I'm having a lot of fun. It's definitely really fast paced so far, like things are happening and it's really engaging, and I think I'm definitely gonna fly through it. I'm almost halfway through the book and oh my god, I love the romance in it so much. It's definitely slow burn. Oh my god. So basically, I don't think I said that the king He is the Shadow King and he can control shadows, and it is forbidden to touch him. So basically, if anyone were to touch him, it would be punishable by death. So the two main characters can't touch, which just increases the sexual tension so much and it makes it so much more exciting. And I just love, I don't know how much I want to say about their relationship because I don't want to spoil anything, but I love it so much and it's giving me all the giddy feelings and I'm just like I I can't. Like, oh my god. The main character Alessandra basically becomes friends with like three guys who kind of used to be friends with the king and aren't anymore, and they live at the palace. And I just love male female friendships. I feel like there needs to be so much more of them in books. They can be so much fun and I love that in this book. And the king, his name is Callias. He is super guarded and he doesn't let anyone in. He's like, he has that mysterious vibe and he is terrified of being vulnerable. And he is cunning and he has, like plans of his own and like, yes, but I feel like he's just so soft deep down and those kinds of characters are just the best. And so I'm loving this book so much that I don't even know how to function. Oh my god. It's like 3 minutes later and I'm just losing my shit. There is a scene that is just so fucking good. And Kalios just said something that was like, oh yeah, he's amazing. I, oh my god. Oh my god. I am dead. I loved this book so much. My last clip was after I finished reading The Shadows Between Us by Trisha Levenseller, and I was incapable of actually finding words to express myself, which I'm still not sure if I'm gonna do a great job at that because I loved it so much and I have the issue that when I adore something, no matter if it's a book or something else, it's really difficult for me to actually describe it properly. So I apologize if it's a little bit, it was everything I wanted it to be and more. And I said at the beginning that the main character, Alessandra, she is a terrible person. And she definitely goes through quite a lot of character development, and while she's definitely not a good person, I don't want to call her a horrible person either. She's just definitely morally gray, just like Callias, who is the king. And both of them are just, they definitely make some questionable decisions and they literally even murder people. But like you can see that they have just so much softness and sweetness and kindness deep down as well. And their relationship gave me life and it was really different from what I expected, and I don't know how much I want to tell you cuz again no spoilers, but I will say that it was much sweeter than I expected it to be. It's definitely very much like a fantasy romance, I would say. It's all set pretty much at the palace, which I love. I love books that are set in like one place. Like I said, there are some amazing friendships. One thing that I kept forgetting to tell you about is that there's a dog. The king, Callias, has a fucking dog. I have never read a fantasy book where the main characters would have a pet and like a dog in a fantasy book. Like, he was in there a lot, but it was super cute and like amazing. A great little touch, I loved it. This video is just going so great. I love the two books so much and I don't even know what to do with myself, and I'm sure that I forgot to say something, but I will just say if you want a book that is mostly focused on romance and it's just really fun and amazing and refreshing. Like, I wouldn't say it's the most original concept or anything, but like the way that it was done, the way that the romance was done, it felt very different and like just absolutely excellent, and I love it. And it was really sex positive as well, and I just there were some female friendships as well that I didn't really mention, which I liked. And I have no words. It's time to read the next book, and that's going to be Mirage by Samaya Dowd. So I am about 15% into the book, and holy shit. It has a stunning cover. It is definitely much more minimalistic than the other covers, because I feel like all the covers in this video are very extra, but obviously even more minimalistic covers going to be super stunning, and I'm already honestly so invested and so interested and kind of shook, honestly. So basically, the plot of this book is that the main character, Amani, is that her name? I think so. I'm sorry if I messed that up. She basically gets taken away from her family, from her home, by like these royals, basically. And so she becomes like a body double for a princess who is very hated, and so it's not safe for the princess to go out and make public appearances. But they found this girl who's the main character who looks exactly like the princess, who can be in her place. So, you know, if she gets killed, they don't care. I like, oh my god, the book jumps straight into it, and so far, like, the pacing, like, shit is happening already, like, I am just like, wow. And I think I've only read, like, in pages, I think I've read like 38 or something. It already had such a strong emotional impact on me, even though, like, I just started, just my heart has already been breaking for the main character, and I think I'm gonna absolutely love this. And I don't usually stay up late reading, like, because I can't stop. It doesn't happen often, but honestly, like, there's a chance that it will happen with this book. Like, the whole thing of how the main character is considered inferior, and, you know, the princess, her life matters so much more according to them. Like, it is so so heartbreaking, and I am just, oh my god, I think it's gonna be absolutely incredible, and I just need to shut up, and I think I'm gonna make myself tea or something, and I'm gonna go read. It's also 300 pages long, I think, which makes me really happy. Like, tell me if you feel the same way. But when a fantasy book is that short, which, you know, like, is an average amount for a book, but not for a fantasy book necessarily. But when a fantasy book is that short, I just have a really good feeling about it, because I feel like it's just going to be really fast paced and just really fun and like exciting the entire way through. Something just happened. I'm literally like, I'm not much further than when I just talked to you, but something happened, and it wasn't like necessarily brutal, but the way it was described, and just one thing that I forgot to mention when I was talking to you is this is not like a fantasy completely. It's actually sci-fi, and it does feel like it's something between fantasy and sci-fi. So there are robots. So the main character is actually found by robots who like scan her face, and so there are little robots that like lead her to places where she needs to go, and they just kind of performed like a plastic surgery on her. And even though it wasn't that extreme, I was just shook as fuck, because like, hello everyone. So it's the next day, and I think I might have been wearing this, so please don't judge me. But I actually earlier did a makeup look inspired by Mirage, and I want to start posting tweets on Twitter, obviously, of just like book inspired makeup looks after like of books that I actually really love and want to tell people about. So just I love the thought of putting together two things that I love so much in the world, which is makeup and books. And so yeah, I did this already because I know that I'm gonna want to tweet about this book. I'm at 35% of the book, so I'm not that far, but it doesn't feel like I've spent a lot of time reading because I have just been busy and I've been trying to work on like a lot of videos and all kinds of shit. So, yeah, like every time I sit down to read, I just feel so immersed in the world and I am so invested in the book and I care about the main character so much and I love her and I am absolutely loving the like way the relationships in the book are starting to develop. So I don't know how much I can say without spoiling something. But let's just say that, the princess and Amani, they have a very complicated relationship. It's like a lot of complicated emotions, and it's just, yes. So that is super interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book where with like a relationship like this, so it is so interesting to see that develop and I know for sure that it's going to like develop even further obviously as I read on and I'm absolutely loving it. And one thing that I feel like in books is really missing is just relationships that are not like the romance in the book. I love romance, and I know that there's a lot of people who feel like there should be more books without romance, which I don't have anything against that, but like it's not something that I personally like want or need desperately because I love romance. Like I do not like when it's not done well, obviously, but I love romance and fantasy and stuff like that. But I also love when books explore relationships that are not that. Relationships that are friendships or like sibling relationships or just family relationships or whatever it might be. It's just so interesting and it's definitely something that needs to be more common, and I'm absolutely loving that in this book. The princess, Maram, she is engaged to this prince. Like, that's not a spoiler. I think it's in the synopsis. And so obviously Amani has to be around him and things like that. And there hasn't been a lot of that so far, but like I'm here for it. I am just loving this book completely. And I wanted to also comment on the fact that this book is so beautifully written. Like I said, I just feel so immersed in the story and it just feels so rich and vibrant and filled with so much goodness. And I don't think I actually said earlier that this is a Moroccan inspired fantasy and it's just filled with so much culture and just like it is absolutely incredible and breathtaking. And also, like I mentioned, it has some sci-fi elements in it, which just makes it even more interesting. And I've never read anything like this. Like, I've never read a book that was kind of fantasy and sci-fi mixed together. I am absolutely obsessed with this book. Like, I don't even know how to express myself. Just, oh my god. Like, I need to buy a physical copy of this. Like, if I read an ebook, it almost never happens that I actually get a physical copy afterwards. Because I'm like, I want so many books that I can't spend money on a book that I have already read, if that makes sense, But this one, like the cover and the book, like I need it. So, yeah. I have been talking for way too long, so I'm gonna go read. I'm at 45% right now, and I'm having such an extreme emotional reaction to this book that I don't even fully understand. And it's since the very beginning, it has been making me feel so much and like so many different emotions. And I can't stop reading. Like I was thinking, like I was just like I kept putting my phone down and I kept stopping and I thought like should I read something else for a moment or like should I do something else? And I'm not able to focus on anything else and I absolutely cannot read anything else right now But at the same time, like, I am loving the book so much and it's making me feel so much that I can barely bear to read it. I don't get it. Like, I think I've had like this feeling before, but it's been so long that like I don't know what to do with myself right now. But I am just feeling so connected to the characters and I'm loving them so much. And I don't know what it is, but I feel so extremely connected to Amani, the main character, even though like our stories and everything are completely different. I just feel such a strong connection to her. So it's time for an update. I don't know if I filmed after finishing Mirage because I can't find the footage and I'm really sad because I absolutely adored the book. But I think I'm gonna look for it a little bit more and see and maybe include it somewhere else. But I really want to finish this video so that I can finally upload it because it's taken a little bit too long. Mirage was absolutely incredible, and at this point the sequel, Court of Lions, came out, and I will be ordering both of the books because I loved Mirage so much that like I absolutely need to have a physical copy. It was absolutely incredible. It was one of the most incredible books I've ever read. Absolutely joining my all-time favorites list, which is actually the case with all the books in this video except for Shadowfrost. Like, what are the odds? Like, and just, I don't even know what to say about Mirage because, like, I have no words. It made me feel so much more than any book has in ages. And it was just so incredible and powerful, and the romance in it made my heart ache. I can't tell you, like, I was about to say something like, if you read one book from this video, read this, but if you read a book from this video, just read all of them. Because, you know, I didn't expect this to happen, but clearly some books with absolutely stunning covers are even better on the inside. Like, these books aren't just, like, as beautiful as the covers, they outrank them by so much, which I didn't even think was possible because they're all so fucking stunning, at least in my opinion. It was a wild ride and I really need to shut up because this video is so freaking long. So thank you so much for watching it if you made it this far. Please give this video a thumbs up and also stay tuned because in the next week there's the like last video in this tiny series of reading books with certain covers. I will probably do something like this again, but like for now. And so definitely subscribe so that you can see that and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And yeah, again, thank you so much for watching. Question of the day: which book do you think has an absolutely stunning cover? I would love to know what your cover taste is like. And yeah, so that's gonna be it. Have a great day and I'm gonna see you soon in another video. Bye!